Hey everyone, Alicia here again with Cosplay Corner video number 2. In this one, I'm going to show you how to take all that reference you gathered from video 1, take your silhouettes that hopefully you guys worked on, and actually create your final costume design based off of those. So let's just hop right into it.
I think it's time.
Alright, so I took a little time and I did about 6 silhouettes, and I decided that I really liked the way number 4 was going and the head crown on number 6. So I took number 4 and I duplicated it because I originally was going to do 2 different designs. And then I took the headpiece as well, so I had reference for that. I hate working on a white background, so I went ahead and put a gray background behind it so I didn't have to stare at a blinding screen. Drop the silhouettes to a lower opacity, and now it's time to start drawing. As always, when you're drawing, please have your reference out. It's super important to always go back to that, because as much as we all want to pull things from our head, it doesn't always work that way. So yeah. I actually like to put my reference on my other monitor. Sometimes I have it on the same monitor I'm drawing on. It kind of depends on my mood. Also, FYI guys, I sped this video up by like 16 times, so hopefully there's no motion sickness or anything. So I'm pretty finicky when it comes to drawing. Okay, so I actually went ahead and sculpted out a chest plate in 3D. Yay, 3D boobs, excuse me. Anyways, so I'm a better sculptor than I am a 2D artist, so I was like, okay, well, let me imagine this in 3D, and it was easier for me to do that way. It just kind of proves to you that you should not be locked to any programs. So I took a screen capture of it, I'm putting it on my other monitor, and I'm using it as reference. I always like to think about the rules of design while I'm working as well. I mean, I'm basing my drawing off of the silhouette I had, but as you can see, I draw this little fin here and I break it up, and I'm making sure that my breakups are not even. That's super important because you'll end up with something called banding, and it's not, it's really not that great when it comes to design. It'll look repetitive and it'll look unnatural. Even in armor, it's better to avoid banding and make sure that your spacing between your pieces is not even. So sorry about the jump there. I actually took this to work with me to draw on the Cintiq during my lunch breaks, and I can't record at work. So I actually went in and cleaned up like the head unit, and that's actually about all I did because I was so distracted. So I'm also trying to get in, even though I have decided that I'm doing an Art Deco theme, I'm really trying to get in some of the iconic things that make her Wonder Woman, like the wings. As you saw, I added the star to her forehead. I just want to make sure that even though the shapes are Art Deco, it still reads as Wonder Woman, and that is super important when you're redesigning a famous and extremely well-known character. Another trick, as you saw, I did the lines, and that's just measuring to make sure that my wings line up and the top of my legs line up. And God, it's not perfect, but you know, it's at least okay. Sorry about the jump. I work on this in pieces. So I'm going to draw a box over here, and what I'm doing with this box, it's something that Tyler taught me, is I'm trying to break up the box in a pleasing way using the shape language that I want to use. Also, I'm sure you've noticed that now I am on an additional layer. Beauty of Photoshop is you can work in layers. It's amazing, guys! So at this moment, I realized that I was focusing too much on Wonder Woman and not enough on the shape language I was going for, and because I chose Art Deco, I decided it was time for me to look away from Wonder Woman and actually look at some Art Deco architecture, graphic design stuff. As you can see, I'm pulling statues and arches and all this kind of random stuff, because it is super, super, super important to know that you can get reference from anywhere. I don't have to be looking at armor to have reference for armor. So do not limit yourself. Have fun. Explore new opportunities. And let me go back to the fact that I am working on an additional layer right now while I'm pulling up all these references. The reason I'm doing that is because my previous layer was pretty messy, and instead of me like going in there and erasing and cleaning up, it's just easier for me to drop that layer down to a lower opacity, create a new layer on top, and just start drawing over it with some cleaner lines. Here I'm trying to emanate the breastplate that I actually sculpted. See, yeah, sad face. I hate what I'm doing at this point. So I went ahead and I took another screenshot of a better angle of the breastplate. I mean, I sculpted the breastplate, why not? Just screen cap it, put it in Photoshop, and just draw right over it. Do not be limited to your digital resources. I line it up as best as I can, and it's not perfect, but it's better than nothing. In this way, because I really already liked the breastplate I had, I can just get those shapes in there and I'm not wasting time trying to draw. I mean, if you notice on the breastplate itself, you can see that the lines I have, I'm avoiding banding by going from thick to medium to thin. You don't have to go exactly in that order, but it's always good to break things up. Underneath, as you can see, there's not necessarily a rhyme or reason. So also another quick drawing note, I'm doing darker outlines on the outside and underneath, and even on some overlapping pieces. If I was bringing this to a complete beautiful piece, I would focus on that more, but those thick lines actually help ground the piece. It'll help show the outer lines in comparison to your finer detail inner lines, and it also helps show overlap. So those are really important things to do, and eventually, actually, after this video, I'm going to go in and I will clean this up and make it more of a beautiful piece, but right now I'm just trying to focus on the design of the piece, as you can see by that crappy belt that needs to be redone. You know, I'm also thinking about the way things are going to attach, especially as I'm designing the shoulders here. I was thinking about, well, I guess it's best if they attach directly to the breastplate, probably by some leather strapping. Because I'm also always thinking about my materials and my material breakups, and I'll talk a little bit more about that before I do the patterns, and I'm going to do a quick video on like color breakup and material breakup, because this video is already going to be long. Once again, as you can see, I drew some straps. I'm just thinking about how things will attach, breaking up the shape language how I want to, adding in the Wonder Woman stars. You know, I'm just constantly thinking while I'm drawing. Yay, I can't get clean lines. And I can't draw stars in perspective, apparently. Gotta fix that one day. Alright guys, so this is my Art Deco Warrior Wonder Woman. This is as she is right now. I'll probably make some changes to it. I tend to make changes while I'm working on patterns and the actual armor pieces, but I'm also going to send it over to Tyler, who is an illustrator and concept artist, so he always gives me really good feedback. It's important to get feedback, guys. Okay, so I decided that I'm going to make another video after this one that covers the color block out as well as my actual final design. So thank you all so much for watching. You can find this video at geekswithwives.com. You can find me at facebook.com/Alicia Cosplay or on Twitter and Instagram at BertVixen. Alright guys, if you have any questions, go ahead and post them in the comments below, or you can message me on any of those sites. Thank you so much for watching.